This is episode 43. It's time to take Men of Abundance to a whole new level.
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
Aloha, Men of Abundance. I am your host, Wally Carmichael, and it is time to take Men of Abundance to a whole new level. If you have not listened to the past episodes, what are you waiting for? Go check them out. Go listen to the other episodes. We got some amazing guests that you're going to learn a lot from and you're going to get a lot out of. And I have even more to come. I right now have 11 shows in queue waiting for you. Now, as I was saying, if you have listened to the past episodes, you know that I was kind of playing around with the idea of taking Men of Abundance from a 3-day-a-week show to a 1-day-a-week show. And there was many reasons for this. And they are valid reasons for me to take Men of Abundance from 3 days a week to 1 day a week. However, I have decided against that at this point in time. And part of the reason for that is because I have so many guests that I'm just itching. I'm just on the edge of my seat to introduce you to. And I can't do that 1 day a week. There's just too many. There's too many people that I'm talking to, and there's too many people I'm having amazing conversations with that I know you want to hear from. So, I don't know. I just don't feel that it would be right to just give them to you 1 day a week. So I'm going to continue doing 3 days a week. And the other reason why I'm going to do that is because I want to hit, this is a very, very lofty goal. I understand that. I know that. But I want to hit 1 million downloads in the next 100 days. So why those numbers? Why 1 million and why 100? So when I first decided I have to increase the downloads for Men of Abundance, and the reason for increasing the downloads is so that more men and women, because about 28 to 31% of the people that visit menofabundance.com are women. I can see that in my demographics. So I know women are getting a lot out of this as well. But in order for me to reach more people, I need more downloads. We need more downloads. We need more people to be able to find Men of Abundance. We need more people to know what a podcast is, for goodness sake. So many people that I talk to have no idea what a podcast is. They've never heard of a podcast. And they don't know the beauty of subscribing to an amazing podcast of people who are talking about amazing things that they're doing in their life and sharing ideas on how you can do that as well. As you know, I absolutely love audiobooks. But let's face it, audiobooks can be quite costly. I just bought one yesterday. I bought Be Obsessed or Be Average. I have the physical book, but I don't always have the time to read. But I'm always driving, and when I'm driving, I like to listen to audiobooks. So I bought the audiobook, and I continuously buy these audiobooks. But here's the amazing thing. You can listen to Grant Cardone, the author of Be Obsessed or Be Average. You can listen to his podcast, and you can get some of the same information and a lot of different information. So podcasting, I don't have to preach to you how amazing podcasts are because you already know. You're listening to this. What I need you to do is share this with other people. Share it with everybody so that more people can be exposed to the world of podcasts and to all of this amazing information and these amazing people. So again, why a million? Why a million downloads? Well, I was originally going to go with 100,000. And then I was listening to Grant Cardone, and he's going to be on the show in a couple weeks. Grant Cardone consistently talks about 10xing everything. 10x it. So if you come up with a number like 100,000, why settle for that? Why sit at 100,000 when you can 10x that? So I 10x'd it and I got to 1 million. So 1 million downloads in 100 days. Why 100 days? Well, I've got this amazing book here, and I've got both books that I'm talking about right here. Be Obsessed or Be Average. And that's Grant Cardone. But I got this other book right here. This other book that is written by another one of my mentors, John Lee Dumas. And this is more than a book. This is my accountability partner. This book that I have here is the book that is the reason why this podcast is launched. I wanted to launch this podcast And I actually wanted to do it in less than 100 days. And I launched a podcast from the time I made the decision and actually started gathering the information on how to launch a podcast. I actually launched this podcast in less than 100 days, right about 90 days. But I used this book to help me and hold me accountable and keep my journal and keep notes of what I had to do and what I have done. And the name of this book is The Freedom Journal, Accomplishing Your Goals in 100 Days, written by John Lee Dumas. And as you probably already know, John Lee Dumas is, like I said, one of my mentors, and he's the reason why I was able to launch this podcast, because he taught me the technical stuff. So there you have it. That's basically the reason why I am making a decision, and my goal is to get 1 million downloads for Men of Abundance in the next 100 days. So as I've learned over the years on my abundant journey, you first have to take inventory of where you're currently at before you can move forward and reach another destination. So as far as downloads are concerned for Men of Abundance, I'm currently sitting at 3.18 thousand downloads, total downloads for Men of Abundance. And that's as stated in my download statistics on my podcast website's back office. So I've got a long, long way to go. And here's the thing. I don't even know if this is possible. I have no idea. I could easily contact a couple of veteran podcasters that I know, such as John Lee Dumas, or go to patflynn.com and ask Pat and maybe end up on his show and ask the question, hey, is it even possible to reach 1 million downloads in 100 days? The fact is, I don't really care. I don't want to know the answer. I could go to John Lee Dumas's website at eofire.com and I could look at his timeline. He's got his timeline on there, and his timeline shows specifically how many downloads he had, how much income he was making, at what point in time did he bring on sponsors based on how many downloads he had. So I could easily go there and look again and see at what point did John Lee Dumas reach 1 million downloads. The fact is, I don't really care. It doesn't affect me at all. What John Lee Dumas, what Pat Flynn, Lewis Howes, all these guys I listen to, what Jeff Woods, what all these guys have been able to accomplish, it doesn't make a difference for me, because I'm me. I'm Wally Carmichael. This is Men of Abundance. You all are amazing, amazing people. You're all future leaders, current leaders. You're all simply amazing people. And I know that you're the amazing people. You are the amazing people who are going to help Men of Abundance reach 1 million downloads in the next 100 days. So how are you going to do that? It's very simple. All you're going to do is share every chance you get. You're going to go back into menofabundance.com. You're going to go to iTunes. You're going to go to Stitcher. Whatever it is, whatever platform you're listening to Men of Abundance on, you're going to go there and you're going to click the share button. You're going to share it on Facebook. You're going to share that episode on Twitter. You're going to do a clamor. You're going to share it on LinkedIn. You're going to share it on Google+. You're going to share it on your Facebook. You're going to share it everywhere. When you talk to somebody on the street, you're going to say, hey, have you ever heard of a podcast? You know somebody who's down. You know somebody who needs some advice. You know somebody who needs some uplifting. They need to get around amazing people. Look, we've said this before. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You can't physically spend time with me every single day, especially if you're not on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. You can't be here physically, but you can be here through my podcast. You can be here through my voice. You can hear me. You can talk. You can yell at me through your iPhone or your Android or whatever. You can hear my voice, and you can hear the people that I'm bringing to you and introducing you to. Then you can go listen to them. You can share that episode, share your favorite episode with other people. So when you talk to somebody and you know that they need some assistance, you know they need positive people in their life, tell them, have you ever heard of a podcast? I'll bet you chances are they haven't. Grab their phone, especially if they have an iPhone. You look for the little purple podcast app. You go there and you search, and you click on search, and you search Men of Abundance, and you download it. It does it all right there. You subscribe to it, and then every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that podcast episode is going to automatically download to their device, and they're going to be able to, it's going to pop up, and they're going to listen to what's going on for that day. And in addition to the Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, I'm going to have additional bonus episodes from time to time it's just going to be me. It may be a special guest that I'm going to bring on, but chances are it's just going to be me talking to you and talking to your buddy, talking to your friend, talking to the people who need to hear what we're talking about living a life of true abundance. This is exciting stuff. We live in exciting times. We live in a time where we can reach the world. Right now, my podcast is only in about 12 countries at most. Other podcasts that are out there are in 30, 40, 50 countries. By the end of this next 100 days, not only are we going to have over 1 million downloads in the next 100 days, we are going to be in over 20 or 40 countries. So share this with everybody that you know, and that's going to be the way that you're going to help. You're going to go to iTunes, you're going to subscribe, you're going to leave a rating and review, and if you leave a 4 or 5 star rating, that would be amazing. But if you feel that I need some more feedback that doesn't necessarily rate a 4 or 5 star rating, hey, I appreciate that. What I want you to do is go to the podcast. If it's specifically about a specific podcast, a specific episode, then go to that episode, leave a comment down below, or shoot me an email. You can reach me at wally@menofabundance.com. Send me an email directly there. Hit me up on Facebook. I'm all over Twitter. Look, guys, I'm here for you. I'm doing this. I'm spending my time to put this information out there for you, to connect with these guys and to connect with people like the guests that you've already heard, the guests that you're going to hear coming up. I've already got Jay Papazan's episode already recorded. We already had that conversation the day before he went on vacation. I have Patrick Bet David lined up. I'm going to be talking with him soon. I'm already talking with getting Grant Cardone on the calendar. I'm going to be talking with him soon. I've got Sierra Say, who is the host of an amazing podcast called the College Dropout Podcast. You got to listen to that. I've got that episode already recorded and ready to go. And I've got many, many more that are just going to blow your mind and going to bring you some amazing thought processes that you absolutely positively need in your life. Now, before I drop off today, I want to talk specifically to those of you who have some sort of a business out there. You're either a podcast host or you have any kind of business, nonprofit, online business, anything of that nature, real estate agent, whatever it is that you're doing, anything that requires you to get in front of customers, that you need customers to survive, and most businesses do, of course. Well, every business does, of course. I want to share with you something you may not have thought about, and that is getting on a podcast. You may not be right for Men of Abundance, and that's okay. However, there is a show out there for you. There are niche podcasts. There are thousands and thousands of podcasts. And there are niche podcasts that would fit perfectly with your message and who you are as an individual and as a company. So, I've got some advice for you. That is, I want you to get connected with Tom Schwab over at Interview Valet. They have an amazing service that will find the right podcast, multiple podcasts, for you, for your business, for your niche. They will communicate directly with the podcast host or the network, because some of these podcasts are in networks. They'll do everything that they can to get you on the podcast that perfectly fits who you are, your message, and your business, and whatever service is that you offer. For instance, if you're launching a very specific book, chances are there's a podcast out there, somebody talking about that particular niche, and they can get you on that podcast. And what's more is they're going to coach you before you get on the podcast to ensure your greatest chance of success while on that podcast. For instance, what a lot of guests don't think about is how do they redirect that podcast audience back to your website without really selling, without sounding completely self-serving. In addition, they're going to show you how to lift up the host. They're going to show you how to lift up the podcast that you're on. They're going to show you how to be unique for that specific podcast. All of these things are extremely important that most podcast guests don't even think about. They just get on there and tell their amazing message and tell their story, but it's not as powerful as it possibly could have been. And then once the podcast is over, it's not done. They do the artwork, they put you out there on social media, they share it with all of their networks, and then those networks continue to share. They have all the connections and they have all the networks to put you on. And then they're going to continue doing that for additional podcasts. It's an amazing way to get your message out there. So how do you get in contact with Tom? Well, the best way is for you to go to menofabundance.com, search on this episode, one of the latest episodes, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the Interview Valet logo down there. Otherwise, go to menofabundance.com, go to resources, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the Interview Valet logo. Click on that, watch the video. There's an amazing video on the website that will walk you through what their services are and what they can do for you. Then contact them. Start working with Interview Valet to get your message out there so you can share your story with tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of customers and clients looking specifically for what you have to offer. They're looking for you. You have an obligation to tell your story. So get in contact with Interview Valet and start sharing your story. All right, abundant leaders, as usual, you know I always appreciate your time. You stuck around to the end. I truly appreciate that. Now, go out and live your life of abundance and make sure you pay it forward. Share this show with everyone. I love you guys. Take care.
That's all for today, Abundance Leaders. For more about our guests and the powerful information we shared with you today, be sure to sign up for our mailing list at menofabundance.com. We appreciate your time and look forward to hanging out with you on our next episode. So until then, be sure to pay it forward and live your life of abundance.